Hi, I'm just gonna quickly make a video to kind of go over the last topic that we will discuss in probability. So, just a heads up, I kind of want to clarify a little bit more about what you might see and get scared of. So, on Illuminate, I did assign a practice test. It's not required, it is not graded. I just have it there for you to practice. Anyways, back to this. Today you do have one assignment, one problem to do. Hopefully you're able to do it right and correctly. So in class we kind of talked about something called compound. That means multiple things together, mixed together. Compound probability. So a lot of probabilities mixed together. I gave you guys this equation, but I also told you that you could have multiple events inside this equation. But the main focus was that you had to kind of recognize that the word and in a probability problem means you need to multiply. This word and means you need to multiply. And typically I represented it with a dot because I didn't want to use the X because we will be talking about variables very soon. So let me go ahead and move on to some examples to kind of give you guys a heads up on that. So this example reads, what is the probability of landing on blue on the spinner and landing heads on a coin and picking a green marble? So go ahead right now and read it to yourself and pause the video. Okay, I hope you unpause the video and read it to yourself. Now that you read it to yourself, I hope you understand what the question is asking you, because that's the question I always ask you. What is the question asking you to find? I hope you're able to identify that. Now, if you are, most likely you might not be very strong at this, but it's still very similar to the other probability problems. You have the letter P for probability, parentheses. We're looking for blue. So I'm going to write the letter B for blue. And this blue is found in the spinner. And the word and is included. So I'm going to use purple again. And the probability of landing on heads on a coin. So for the heads, I'm going to use perhaps red, H for heads. And then the word and, because we're also finding the probability of picking a green marble. So I'm going to use purple on that one and write the big word and, because that represents some type of operation. And I told you that operation is multiplication. So we're finding the green marble at the end, G for green. So let me write the green. And then let me go back to purple and let me encase that. So we're finding the probability of blue and heads and green marble. So based off that, we're gonna have three fractions. We're gonna have a probability fraction for the blue. The word and means multiply, so we're gonna go ahead and in purple draw a big dot for multiplication. And we're also finding the probability of landing on heads. So I'm going to write in red for heads, H for heads, and that means multiply again times the probability of landing or picking the green marble. So P, and we're going to encase the letter G because that's the probability we're looking for. We're looking for green. So G for green. So we're going to multiply these probabilities together. So the probability of landing on blue, go ahead and write that down on your piece of paper and then check in with me. Okay, I hope you were able to quickly find that. The probability of landing on blue is 1/3. And then don't forget to drop down the multiplication symbol, because that will be the operator that you need to connect the probability of blue to heads. Now, what is the probability of landing on heads on a coin? Go ahead and write that down and then check in with me. Okay, I hope you were able to write that down actually. It's 1/2. So now we don't forget the operator or operation of multiplication. Now you got to go ahead and find the probability of picking the green marble from that jar. Go ahead and write that down and then check up with me or check in with me. So the probability of picking the green marble is 2/3. So from this point, I kind of told you guys you should know this from 6th grade, and that was multiplying fractions. So at this point, you're just going to multiply your probability from blue, probability of landing heads, and probability of getting a green marble. So if that is equal to something, it's going to be a fraction again. then that's going to be 1 times 1 times 2. In the bottom, you're going to have 3 times 2 times 3. Let me do that. If you multiply this out, I definitely recommend you, if you're not strong in multiplication, to use a calculator. If you are strong in multiplication, don't use it. So the top is 2. The bottom is, that's 6. 6 times 3, that's 18. And you can definitely check in with that with your calculator. So at this point, you can definitely convert it to a decimal or percentage. Just remember, changing the decimal to a percentage is not something that you learned in this grade. You learned it in 6th or 5th grade. So let me go ahead and go to a more complex problem, because those are the ones that we kind of focused on in class. We're going to look at this problem again. So go ahead and take some time and read this. Read this to yourself. And pause the video if you need to, but unpause it when you're ready to come back. Okay, I hope you were able to read it to yourself and try to build understanding within the problem. So, as always, I always ask you guys, what is the question asking you to do? So, I hope you were able to identify that. And if you haven't, please pause the video and then unpause it once you find what the question is asking you to do. So, I hope you were able to identify that the question was telling you that you had to find the probability of randomly playing football and soccer and swimming if golf, tennis, wrestling is added to the spring sports. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with what I'm trying to find out, and that's the probability of a compound event. The compound event includes F for football. I'm gonna use blue because it's color coded for football, and then let me use purple for the word and also I'm gonna play soccer in winter. I'm gonna use yellow, S for soccer. And let me try to make it more clear on that. And also, let's not forget, we're finding the probability of playing swimming in spring. So let me use orange on that one. SW for swimming, because I don't want to confuse it with the other S. And that's all encased within that probability. But this also represents a different form. It represents the probability of football, playing football, and let me use blue. And the word and, remember what it means? It means multiply. So you're going to put the multiplication symbol. And then we're also looking for the probability of playing soccer in winter. So let me change that to yellow. Let me write the S for soccer. Okay, and we're also including another event. So let me go ahead and include that event. And also the probability, oops, I made a mistake. Not the word and, we're using the multiplication symbol, right? Dot. So let me go ahead and get that dot right there. The probability of swimming. So let me go ahead and use orange, SW. So we're finding this, but there's some changes. There's some changes. Let me actually use a different color to highlight that changes. Let me use like baby blue. So we're looking for changes because we're looking for this once something's changed. And the changes include that in spring you're adding golf, you're adding tennis, and you're adding wrestling. So let me encase those with a different color. Let's see if I'm gonna probably use purple. So you're adding 3 more sports into spring. So how will that change the probability for John to pick football randomly and pick soccer randomly and swim randomly? So just like before, you're finding the probability of picking football just from the fall sports. There's only 2. So go ahead and write that down on your piece of paper. Also, go ahead and write down the probability of picking soccer in winter only, and also the probability of swimming only in spring. And then check in back with me if you have it correct. So pause the video and then unpause it when you're ready. Okay, I hope you were able to respond to that. So the probability of picking football was 1/2. We are multiplying because the word and tells us to multiply. We're doing the probability of soccer. that is 1/2. And then we're doing the probability of, let's see, swimming, which is out of 5 sports. I forgot, totally forgot this part. It's out of 5 sports now because of the changes. So it's 1/5. And just like before, you have to multiply these fractions together. And once you multiply these out, you should get 1/20. So that's what happens when you change it. Anyways, let me go ahead and pause the video. Actually, that should kind of summarize it. But for homework, I want you to do only one problem. And the one problem you're doing is this problem right here. You're going to do this problem, but I'm going to take out these two and just add them on. So it's going to look like this one, but go ahead and do that problem and then submit it on a Google form. Also, I will upload a template for a study guide. Please use the study guide. I'll include videos within the study guide for you to practice. Anyways, I hope you guys do awesome on the exam because I do believe in you guys. I've seen you guys work really hard. Also, enjoy your weekend and be safe. Bye.